Good. All right. Good evening, everyone. It is July 8th. We're here for our first board meeting of our new fiscal year, and it is approximately 6:04 p.m. We're gathered in the Performing Arts Center of Walt Whitman High School. We've relocated this building due to some ongoing construction at the district office, and we're here gathered for the sole purpose of moving into executive session. Is there a motion to do so? Mr. Scragg, seconded by Ms. LaCara, and the exec session would discuss matters of personnel and confidential student matters, among other items. Any questions on the agenda? All in favor? Any opposed? We anticipate returning to public at approximately 7:30 p.m. to conduct a public hearing, to do the annual meeting agenda and our regular business meeting agenda. Thank you.
For this, I miss my mom and dad for this. No, when I see stars, when I see stars, that's all they are. When I hear songs, they sound like a swan. So come on, well, daddy's sick, guys, daddy's on. 5 minutes in and I'm bored again. 10 years of this, I'm not sure if anybody understands. This one is not for the folks at home. Sorry to leave, mama had to go. Who the fuck wants to die alone, all dried up in the desert sun? My heart is breaking for my sister and the calm that she called love. And then I look into my nephew's eyes. Man, you wouldn't believe the most amazing things that can come from some terrible lie.
just fine before I met you. I drink too much and that's an issue, but I'm okay.
It was forked in two. Your venom was lethal. I almost believed you. Yeah, you prayed on my every mistake, waited on me to break. Held me under hoping I would drop like a plague. I was.
so we're administering the oath before we vote on the members. Correct. Gotcha, so it's just Sydney, okay. All right, Andrew, okay. All right, good evening, everyone. We're back in public session. I'll take a motion to close the executive session. Is there a motion? Mr. Joyner, seconded by Ms. Meyer. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. And I'll take a motion to open up the organizational meeting, formerly known as the reorganizational meeting. Is there a motion? Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Ms. Clark. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next step of new business is to administer the oath of office to our new returning members. Mr. Bronson is not here today, so that leaves Mr. Joyner. Mr. Joyner, will you please stand? I don't have a portable microphone, so. All right, repeat after me. I, Sidney Joyner, do solemnly swear that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties of
and I will faithfully discharge the duties of
member of the Board of Education
member of the Board of Education
of the South Huntington School District
of the South Huntington School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Welcome back. It was like you never left. All right. That's item B. Moving on to item C, we have election of board officers. Is there a nomination for president? Ms. LaCara. All right. Is there any other candidates? Or actually, we need a second first. Sorry, is there a second? Mr. Scragg. Anyone else? All right, all in favor? Any opposed? All right, is there a nomination for vice president? Mr. Scragg. Ms. Meyer, would you like to make a nomination? Okay, is there a second? Mr. Scragg. Any other nominations? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, congratulations, Ms. LaCara.
Congratulations to you.
Ms. Caliendo.
Yes.
I, Nicholas Ciapetta,
I, Nicholas Ciapetta,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
and that I will faithfully discharge the duties
of President of the Board of Education
of President of the Board of Education
of the South Huntington School District
of the South Huntington School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Okay.
Oh, you do me.
I do you.
I didn't know how it went.
Okay. I, Linda LaCara,
I, Linda LaCara,
do solemnly swear
do solemnly swear
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
that I will support the Constitution of the United States
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and the Constitution of the State of New York,
and that I will faithfully discharge
and that I will faithfully discharge
the duties of Vice President of the Board of Education
the duties of Vice President of the Board of Education
of the South Huntington School District
of the South Huntington School District
according to the best of my ability.
according to the best of my ability.
Congratulations, Ms.
Thank
LaCara.
you. Thank you.
All right. We have the rest of the organizational agenda. There's quite a number of them, some new things as we're cleaning up prior items. So the rest of the agenda requires one resolution for adoption. That's items D through I. Is there a motion? Ms. Clark, seconded by Ms. LaCara. I will just run through a couple of these that are new for the first time, as our lawyers have been reviewing these. So for the first time, we have an appointment of Records Management Officer. That's Mike Conway. It's item 32. Appointment of Dignity Act Coordinators at all of our buildings. Renee Shamet Silaswood, Mitch Levy at Countrywood, Annie McCallion at Oakwood, Maria Colon at Maplewood, Dimitri Bernadelle at Birchwood, Steve Toto at Memorial, there we go, Memorial, Mike Duggan at Stimson, and John Murphy at Walden High School. We have the appointment of the school lunch manager, Sheila Busey, Appointment of the asbestos compliance officer and the asbestos consultant, the chemical hygiene officer, all Dennis Martin. We are also, let's see what else. Oh, item 19 under section G, review and adoption of board policy 3280R. That's regarding the use of facilities rate schedule. That's a fairly significant one. So we'll completely revise the facilities use schedule with the facilities use policy to come at a later meeting. And this will be here going forth annually in this agenda. Approval of tuition for non-resident students when we have them. Approving substitute pay for the 26-27 school year. Also new, all of the board committees are part of the or the annual meeting agenda. So we have all the committees there. And appointments of the members to those committees, chairs and members. And then we have the board meeting schedule for the year, as well as all the committee meeting dates for the year, as well as the adoption of board policy 6700 purchasing, which has to be adopted annually. There's quite a number of board policies that have to be adopted annually. This is the only one that's ready right now. Code of conduct has to be done annually, so that's coming shortly. And then establishment of mileage reimbursement rates, which is the rates set by the IRS. Any questions on the organizational agenda? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, I'll take a motion to adjourn the organizational meeting. Motion. Ms. LaCara, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Any questions on the organizational meeting adjourning? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Organizational meeting is closed. I will take a motion to adopt the business agenda and open the business meeting. Is there a motion? Mr. Joyner, seconded by Ms. Clark. All right. Any questions on the agenda? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Items E through H require one resolution for adoption. Is there a motion? Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Ms. Clark. Mr. Conway, can you talk about the bids?
Yes, I can. Let me just get that. Okay, thank you. So the first one up for tonight is the approval of school nutrition bids for the upcoming school year. What this is, South Huntington bids is part of a co-op with approximately 50 school districts on Long Island since approximately 1980s. The intent here is to increase buying power and keep pricing low. And the various awards range from bread, grocery, canned goods, things of that nature. Each separate bid gets a chairperson with a team of roughly 3 to 4 people, and Sheila Busey is the bid chairperson on approximately a dozen of the overall bids.
And the driver education, is this, this is the in-car instruction, right, portion?
Yes, so if we look over that one tonight for the approval is a request to award an RFP for driver's ed to Twin County Driving School. They're located nearby in East Northport, and that, as you said, is for the in-car requirement portion of the training. The in-class portion at this time, the intent is to be done by a South Huntington teacher.
Dr. Murphy, are we able to find somebody to do that? I know we weren't able to find somebody for the summer.
Yes, we did. We found somebody for driver's ed. We have all paperwork indicated start filling out. We will have full class.
Fall classes? Okay, excellent. Okay. Is that a South Huntington Beach person?
It's Zayma, our school science teacher. So she is part of the district. She'll be doing it, and we are just the people we're using now is the one that received the bid. So business as usual, with the same price on that.
Okay. Okay, thank you. That's great, because it's tough to find somebody, because I think they have to be a certified teacher, and then they have to be certified in driver's ed, too. So it's a challenge. The last person we had, I think, did it for 50 years, so. Okay, the bills are there. Thank you, Mr. Conway. Any questions from Mr. Conway? Or on items E through H? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, we have a public hearing coming up, but let's finish the communications first. We have 3 pieces of communication. The first is an email communication from a parent explaining that she had an incredible experience over at Maplewood. And Dr. Hendry, you featured nicely in here, so was very happy with her experience, so, and said you did a great job, so congratulations, thank you.
Thank you.
All right, we have a communication from a resident who is not here either regarding the condition of the roadway at the South Huntington Public Library, that it was filled with potholes, which is somewhat true, there's some potholes there. And Dr. Delia, we're going to take care of that? Oh, yours is dead.
Yes, I spoke with Mr. Martin, our facilities director, and we are surveying the district, and we're looking at a few places, and the public library is one of those places we're going to look to repair.
Excellent, thank you. Okay. And the last, we have an email communication from a resident regarding the Walden High School newly added turf field. Is that resident here? I don't see it, okay.
Do you have a phone conference set up with him for next Tuesday?
Oh, you do?
Yes.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, there was some concerns about artificial turf, I guess, in general, and safety, though I don't see any real definitive report on it. In fact, there's a recent California study finding that there's no safety risk, at least no causal safety risk posed by artificial turf. So, okay, thank you. We will turn it over to Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Cepeda. Part of the organizational meeting this evening is the public hearing of our district-wide safety plan, which we must do annually. This safety plan will appear in our district website for 30 days before being approved, and a copy could also be found in the district clerk's office as well. So when speaking about the district-wide safety plan, we're going to look at three particular areas: the requirements in educational law, the components of the district plan itself, and also timeline for implementation tonight. So when you start looking at the requirements under the law, it creates safety teams at each one of our school buildings and also a district-wide safety team. The district-wide safety team does meet annually to review our district-wide safety plan, as well as at the individual buildings as well, reviewing their emergency response plans. Within each building, there is also an emergency response team and a post-incident response team. And what very often those teams are doing is actively participating in drills, reviewing those drills afterwards, and finding if there's any things that need to be improved upon. The district-wide safety plan, like I said before, is reviewed annually. And currently what's happening right now is this presentation, so that this way there's a 30-day public comment period. And after that, there must be an adoption by September 1st. The building level emergency response plans, these are confidential plans. The district plan is not. The district plan is there for public view. Obviously, the emergency response plans speaks very specifically to each building. Those plans remain confidential. So I'm just going to walk you through the components of the safety plans. Our district-wide plan provides policies and procedures for responding to implied or direct threats or acts of violence, policies and procedures for contacting law enforcement and families, appropriate prevention and intervention strategies that we utilize, and policies and procedures for safety training, dissemination of information, conducting drills, and the use of our security personnel. Probably the biggest change that you'll see from this year, from last year to this year, is there's information this year within a transportation annex, and what that transportation annex dictates is how we will utilize our own transportation in case of an emergency that might be needed. The year previous, we added language regarding a cardiac plan. I'm proud to say that I think South Huntington was at the forefront of our cardiac plan and making sure that there are AEDs on all the exteriors of our buildings that are available to our community and staff. But also training all our school administrators last summer to be AED first aid certified and CPR certified as well. The components of the safety plans for the building plans are a little bit different. They are much more specific and are going to narrow into that individual building itself. It will be policies and procedures for responding to emergency situations that might require a lockdown, a secure lockout, instances where you would have to evacuate the building, the procedures and what that would look like, or also instances where you might have to shelter within the building and where you would do that. Specific to those building plans, there are floor plans, roadmaps of the immediate area that are clearly labeled for first responders, as well as communication which would be internal and external and how that would look. There are also specific procedures for reviewing and conducting safety drills annually. And once again, the differences that you would see, again, this is not for public information, but there are adjustments that are happening to those plans this year that will speak more specifically to what transportation would look like if they were arriving to that building in case of an emergency. So really what the next steps look like as a district. From September 25 to June 26 of this school year, the district-wide safety plan has been reviewed and updated by the district-wide safety team. Currently, what we're doing today, on July 8th, is publicly hearing that district safety plan, where there's going to be a 30-day comment period for our community. And once again, a draft of this plan is available in the office of the district clerk. Finally, at the board meeting on August 19th, after a public comment period, there'll be a resolution for adoption for the Board of Education, and then from there, it will be posted on the district's website as an approved document on September 1st. After that, by October 1st, all these plans are uploaded to the NYSED portal. The building plans are also shared with emergency responders and second precinct, anybody that would be responding to our buildings. And I will say that we have a great relationship with them, and they're often with us throughout the school year when we're doing any one of the drills within our district.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Does the board have any questions on the plan? Okay, I'll open up to the public. Any residents like to, yes?
It's a great question. Yes, so the question
Smith, I'm
was
sorry.
regarding whether or
Can you
not...
just repeat the question? Oh, you do. Thank you.
The question was regarding whether or not the CPR certification covers younger children as well as adults, and it does. There was actually mannequins that we utilized in that training. And any one of the new administrators that we are hiring this school year, Mr. Lombardo and myself are working on getting them CPR first aid and AED certified this summer as well.
Great. Other questions? Going once, twice? Okay, with that, we will close the public hearing. Thank you, Mrs. Smith.
Absolutely. Why I have one moment at the microphone, I would be remiss not to mention Mr. Jim Beck in the back of the PAC tonight. I know he does not like to be recognized, but he is our district safety coordinator for the district. He really does an amazing job each and every day. There is truly not a place where you do not see Jim. We truly appreciate his dedication to the district. Very often, if there's anything happening around the district, even over the weekend, I know that first text message is always coming from Jim, communicating exactly what's happening. So we don't often say it, Jim, but you should know how much you are valued and appreciated for the work you do with our district and keeping not only us safe, but our students. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Smith. Thank you, Mr. Beck. All right, we will move on to the new business agenda. We have a lot of new business tonight. The first item is a motion to take off the table item number 10 from our June 17th board meeting that was tabled. It was a donation from South Huntington Educational Foundation to Walden High School Research Program. Is there a motion? Ms. Meyer seconds. Ms. LaCara? All in favor? Any opposed? And we have one recusal, Mr. Scragg, as he's the chair of Chef. Okay. Moving on to item number 2, we now have to approve that donation from Chef to the science program. Is there a motion? Ms. LaCara, seconded by Ms. Clark. And it's a donation. It was 2 students came to us, and it's in the amount of $2,200. And we're on the fritz. And we appreciate Chef's donation on this. It's once again for the science research program at Walden High School. Dr. Murphy, you want to mention anything else about that, or? Okay. All right, we'll take a motion. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, so we have 5 in favor, 0 opposed, and 1 recusal, which is Mr. Scragg. All right. Moving on to new business item number 3, approval of a stipulation agreement previously discussed in executive session. Do we have a motion? Mr. Joyner, seconded by Ms. Meyer. Mr. Lombardo.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Tonight for the board's approval, this contract and placement is for one South Huntington resident who attends the Whole Child Academy. The district does not currently have an appropriate in-district program to support the student's needs.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Lombardo. Any questions? As I said, this has been discussed in executive session. All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on to item number 4, approval of a contract with school aid specialists. Is there a motion? Ms. Clark, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Mr. Lombardo again.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Tonight for the board's approval is an agreement with school aid specialists for the 26-27 school year. We've worked with school aid specialists successfully for over 15 years, and they work with us to maximize our Medicaid revenue based on services the district provides to students. Their fee is still unchanged at the 20% of the retained Medicaid funds received.
Thank you, Ms. Lombardo. All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution is adopted. All right, moving on to new business item number 5, beginning of a series of out-of-district placements. This first one for Brookville Center for Children's Services. Motion, please. Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Ms. Clark. Mr. Lombardo, we'll stay with you.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the board's approval, this placement is for 3 South Huntington residents. All 3 students are diagnosed with autism and require highly structured programs to support developmental, self-care, and communication deficits, as well as behavioral needs.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on to new business item 6, approval of another out-of-district placement, this one with the Judge Rottenberg Educational Center. Is there a motion? Ms. Meyer, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Ms. Lombardo again.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the board's approval is an out-of-state residential placement in Massachusetts for one of our students whose educational program requires comprehensive academic, behavioral, and daily living support. The student demonstrates significant needs in the areas of independent living skills, and a residential placement is necessary to provide the level of support required to meet the student's educational and related service needs.
Okay, any questions for Ms. Lombardo? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, new business item number 7, yet another out-of-district placement, this one for the Hagedorn Little Village School. Is there a motion? Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Ms. Clark. Mr. Lombardo.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Tonight for the board's approval, this placement is for a 12-year-old South Huntington student who attends the Hagedorn Little Village School in Seaford. The student is classified with multiple disabilities and receives academic support in a special class setting.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution is carried unanimously. Item 8, approval of an out-of-district placement, this one for the Eden 2 School for Autistic Children. Motion. Mr. Joyner, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Mr. Lombardo.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the board's approval, this placement is for an 8-year-old resident who has an autism diagnosis and a history of elopement and behavioral concerns. The student is also nonverbal and requires intensive behavior services. The district does not currently have an appropriate in-district program to support the student's needs.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? Resolution is unanimous. Moving on to item 9, out-of-district placement, the Harmony Heights Day School. Is there a motion? Ms. LaCara, seconded by Ms. Clark. Mr. Lombardo once again.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Tonight for the board's approval, this placement is for a 14-year-old student attending Harmony Heights for the 2nd year. The student requires a high level of social and emotional support that cannot be supported through an in-district program.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? And we move on to our final out-of-district placement. Once again, these have all been discussed in executive session. This is for the Children's Center of Nassau. Motion. Ms. Clark, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Mr. Lombardo once again.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Tonight for the board's approval, this placement is for a 9-year-old South Huntington resident who has attended UCP of Nassau since transferring to our district in April of 2026. The student's medical and academic needs cannot be supported by an in-district program.
Great. All in favor? Any opposed? Okay, moving on to item 11, disposal of obsolete equipment, some instruments at Walden High School. Motion. Ms. Meyer, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Ms. Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the board's approval tonight, we have 2 base instruments at Walt Whitman High School that are not functioning and are beyond repair, which Mr. Matt Hoffman is requesting to declare obsolete in order to make space for new equipment.
All in favor? All right, goodbye to the Bass. Moving on, item 12, approval of agreement with the Huntington YMCA. Motion. Ms. Meyer, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Ms. Kavanaugh again.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Tonight, for the board's approval, we have an agreement with the Huntington YMCA for our district swim team to utilize their pool for their practices. The total rental fee for the season is $7,600. This allows for 1-hour practices Monday through Friday from September to March. The YMCA is responsible to provide lifeguards during that time.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Item 13, participation with RIC One Risk Operations Data Center. Motion. Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Ms. Clark. Ms. Kavanaugh.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. So this is a continuation of participation in this agreement. For the board's approval tonight, we have a request to continue to participate in the RIC One Risk Assessment Operations Center, which is a statewide collaborative designed to streamline the data privacy contracting experience and ensure that we have compliance with New York State Education Law 2D. So by approving this resolution, the district will reduce its administrative burden by outsourcing some of the negotiation related to certain data privacy agreements based on what they have available in their system. While we cannot modify the standardized DPAs, we can have full authority to review each agreement before signing anything, and the signing is digital by our data protection officer, which is me.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? And moving on to item number 14, approval of data privacy agreements for 2 photography companies. Motion. Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Ms. Clark. Dr. Hender.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Tonight, for the board's approval, are 2 data privacy agreements with photography companies to ensure that all of our student data is Ed Law 2D compliant and private.
Do you know what we use them for? Is this for class photos or yearbook photos or?
Yes, a combination of both, yearbook and class photos. Both companies have been utilized in the past.
Okay. Now, elsewhere, it's done by the PTA themselves, no?
So the data privacy agreement is signed so that the companies are allowed to work with our PTAs to utilize that.
Okay, great. Any other questions? All in favor? Any opposed? And moving on to item 15 is a confidential personnel resolution previously discussed in exec session. Motion. Ms. Meyer, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the Board of Education's approval is this confidential resolution that was discussed prior in an executive session regarding one of our employees.
Okay, thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. We have an affiliation agreement with Hofstra coming up next. Motion. Ms. Meyer, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Mr. Smith.
Yeah, thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the Board of Education's approval is this affiliation agreement with Hofstra University. This agreement outlines the terms for hosting student teachers and provides language regarding the supervising teacher receiving vouchers and stipends for their commitment.
All in favor? Any opposed? All right, next is an affiliation agreement with Stony Brook. Motion. Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Ms. Clark. Mr. Smith again.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Once again, very similar for the Board of Education's approval is this affiliation agreement with Stony Brook University. Similar to the previous agreement, once again, this document outlines the terms for hosting student teachers and the compensation for supervising educators.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith. Board have any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to item 18, approval for the foster grandparent program for the 26-27 school year. Ms. LaCara and Mr. Scragg. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Once again, for the Board of Education's approval is this agreement with the foster grandparent program. South Huntington has a long-standing relationship with the foster grandparent program. This program assigns senior citizens to each of our elementary schools. These individuals support student learning, provide mentoring, and perhaps most importantly, establish lasting relationships with our students.
Thank you. It's always a nice program. Wonderful people. comments, questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next, approval for South Huntington Nutritional Services to participate in a cooperative. Motion. Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Mr. Conway.
Thank you, Mr. Cepeda. So for the board's approval tonight are two things within this agenda item here. One is Lycinda, the Long Island School Nutrition Directors Association. This is a resolution we do each year to allow South Huntington to continue participation in this cooperative, allowing us joint power to purchase items with other schools in Nassau and Suffolk, for things such as food service, commodities, and supplies, with the intention of overall, keeping prices low overall. And the second item in the agenda is National School Lunch Program. Again, by adoption of this resolution, this allows us to continue our participation in order to operate our food service program and receive state and federal funding.
Thank you, Mr. Conway. These are resolutions that are adopted annually.
Thank you.
All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on to item number 20, we have a donation from parent Amy Kaufman to the Birchwood Intermediate School. Is there a motion? Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Ms. Clark. Dr. DeLeo.
Yes, for the board's approval tonight is a generous donation of $1,000 that will be earmarked for Birchwood Intermediate School by Ms. Amy Kaufman.
Okay. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Moving on to item number 21 is the adoption of revised policy, board policy 115, the adoption of new board policy 4850, and new board policy 8130. Is there a motion? Ms. Meyer, seconded by Ms. LaCara. So we're making a small adjustment to policy 115, which is the prohibition against bullying. We previously adopted this earlier in the calendar year. Very minor change to just say that the board will designate at its organizational meeting, which we just did, a Dignity Act coordinator for each school. So that was something new. So not just an overall Dignity Act coordinator, one for each school. So that is the only adjustment to that policy. Board policy 4850 is next, and that concerns animals in the school for instructional purposes. So this concerns the study and the life care of students, and also dissection of students, nope, that would be something. Dissection of animals, and allows students an opt-out and alternative course of study in the event that they feel uncomfortable with that dissection. And also prohibits the inhumane instruction and treatment of animals. And last, 8130, is the district-wide safety plan and team, which is apropos given tonight's presentation. So that is a pretty much completely revised policy. Includes school security, instruction, fire and arson prevention, and annual review, which we are doing. So those are 3 board policies, 2 completely new ones and 1 revised. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next, our recommendations for the placements by the committee, students by the Committee on Special Education and Preschool Special Education. Dates listed in March, April, May, and June. Motion. Ms. LaCara, seconded by Mr. Scraggs. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right, now we move on to a series of travel stipends. Number 23 for the Transportation Supervisor. Motion. Mr. Scraggs, seconded by, do we have a second? No second. Ms. Meyer, seconded by Ms. Meyer. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Cepeda. For the Board of Education's approval is this resolution, which provides our transportation supervisor with a travel stipend to help offset the cost of using their personal vehicle for district business.
Okay. And this is their own personal vehicle.
That's correct.
And it's in lieu of the district providing a vehicle.
Correct.
Okay. And because this is not in the person's contract, we do it separately by resolution each year. Any questions? All in favor? Any opposed? And we move on to next resolution, a local 24 staff member car allowance. Motion. Mr. Joyner, seconded by Ms. Meyer. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the Board of Education's approval is this resolution, which provides our lead mechanic with a travel stipend to offset the costs of using their personal vehicle for district business, and this is part of the CBA for UPSEU, which represents this individual.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Smith. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to the next is another travel allowance for technology department members. Motion. Ms. Clark, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Mr. Smith again.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Once again, for the Board of Education's approval is this resolution, which provides members of our IT department, which travel throughout the district consistently, with a travel stipend to offset the cost of using their personal vehicles for district business.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Next one is a travel allowance for various members of the South Huntington Administrators Association. Is there a motion? Ms. LaCara, seconded by Mr. Scragg. Mr. Smith.
Once again, thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the Board of Education's approval is this resolution, which provides members of the South Huntington Administrators Association with travel stipend to offset the cost of using their personal vehicles.
Great. Any questions? All in favor? All right, moving on to new business item number 27, travel allowance for various middle management employees. Motion. Mr. Scragg, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Question, Mr. Smith, rather.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. Once again, for the Board of Education's approval is this resolution, which provides members of our middle management with a travel stipend to offset the cost of using their personal vehicles for district business.
Okay, thank you. Any questions on this? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. And these are standard resolutions that we adopt each year at the organizational meeting. All right, moving on to item number 28, first of several consultant contracts. And is there a motion for 28 for a member of our public relations staff? Mr. Scragg, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the Board of Education's approval is this consultant agreement for one of our public relations associates that outlines their duties of work and compensation.
Okay. All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on to new business item number 29, approval for another member of our contract for another member of our public relations staff. Motion. Mr. Joyner, seconded by Mr. Scragg. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the Board of Education's approval is this consultant agreement for one of our public relations associates. Once again, it describes the duties of their position and their compensation.
Thank you. All in favor? Any opposed? And adopted unanimously. And number 30 for a final public relations associate. Motion. Ms. Clark, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Mr. Smith, one more time.
No problem. Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the Board of Education's approval is this consultant agreement for one of our public relations associates, once again describing the duties of their work and their compensation.
Thank you, Mr. Smith. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, and moving on to item number 31, sorry, one more consultant agreement. Is there a motion? Ms. Meyer, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Mr. Smith.
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. For the Board of Education's approval is this consultant agreement for district operations and services. Outlined within this is the duties and operations and also the compensation for the position.
Okay, great. And any questions on that one? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. And that we added some expanded services to that contract as well to cover our revised facilities use policy and to provide for intake meetings with different organizations that are seeking to use South Huntington facilities. We have a lot of interest in using our facilities because they're nice and a lot of them have been recently updated, and we really need more of a coordinated approach to reviewing those applications, approving them, and then scheduling them as well. All right, moving on to 32, approval of a contract with H2M Consultants and Architects. Is there a motion? Ms. Clark, seconded by Ms. LaCara. Dr. D'Elia, kind of self-explanatory. But
Yeah, this is an agreement with H2M, our current architects, that will cover us for the 26-27 school year. They've been involved in a lot of our capital work, and they've been doing a good job for us.
Okay, great. All in favor? Any opposed? And moving on to item number 33, approval of an agreement with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Office. Is there a motion? Mr. Joyner, seconded by Ms. Meyer. This is an exciting one. Dr. D'Elia.
Yes, for the board's approval here, we have an agreement with the Suffolk County Sheriff's Department that will allow them to contact us in the event that any of our students are experiencing some kind of traumatic event that goes through the sheriff's office. For example, like an eviction, the principal of each building will be notified, and then from there, they would contact the individual's teacher or teachers, and it's all confidential, handled within the school district, but it's very important that we know that students may be experiencing these kind of events and that we're able to handle them, like the program says, with care, and as we do for all of our students. So, and we know within the Sheriff's Department, there's only so many things that they're involved with, but let's see how this goes, and then I think we should probably start a little push to see if the second precinct can help us out with this type of agreement. And I know the Sheriff's Department has been looking at that as well to form that kind of relationship. So this is a good start, and happy to recommend it to the board.
Thank you, Dr. D'Elia. Yeah, I think we're not the first to sign up with the sheriffs, but maybe we'll be the first to do the second precinct. Okay, great. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, moving on to resolution number 34, revision to our curriculum council charter. Motion. Ms. LaCara, seconded by Mr. Joyner. Any questions here? Oh, I'll just explain a little bit. Last year, we had adopted resolutions for each of the board's standing advisory committees pursuant to Board Policy 2210, which is also a new policy. This is just a slight tweak. A lot of interest in serving on the Curriculum Council Committee, so tried to find a way to open it up to some other people that may be interested, and so it creates an alternate spot in the event a board member is unable to attend. Our current curriculum members are Ms. LaCara, who serves as chair, Mr. Joyner, and Mr. Bronson, who couldn't be with us tonight. So I ask three of you, if you cannot make a board meeting, to please let Ms. Kavanaugh know a day or so in advance, so that way the alternate can step in. All right. Questions? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. And the last is authorizing attendance at New York State School Board Association Annual Summer Law Conference. Motion. Mr. Scragg, seconded by Ms. Clark. This is an annual conference. This year they're talking about immunization exemptions, which seems to come up almost every year, artificial intelligence, and how it impacts civil rights. But the most significant thing usually that they provide is new laws, regulations, and court rulings, and there always seems to be a Supreme Court ruling lately that impacts public education, and this year was no exception. All in favor? Any opposed? Moving on to personnel, we have personnel schedules 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 9, 11, 12, 15, 16, 19, 20, and 22. Is there a motion? Ms. Meyer, second by Mr. Scragg. Any questions on personnel? All in favor? Any opposed? All right. Information and reports are listed. We have a couple personnel postings. It looks like for a biology teacher at Walden High School, dual language teacher, speech teacher, and some curriculum writing. Committee reports, just one committee it looks like we had. We had the Facilities Committee. We met on June 18th over at Silas Wood in the library. Lots to discuss. Very exciting thing is that now we have officially turned over these buildings. If you'll notice, Memorial now has its official sign up, at least one of them. There'll be another roadway sign, and I think we're working on the signage over at Silas Wood. Memorial is moving along nicely. A couple unfinished areas that we're working on is the library, just waiting on the casework over there, and I think there's still some residual construction on the bathrooms. Assistant Principal Mr. Ken Costa over there is met with the Girl Scouts, and he's working on a Girl Scout bronze project to add to our aesthetics over there. We met with BBS, which is our landscape architects, and we discussed the current landscaping plans that are in the hopper, as well as ones to come. If you go over to Memorial, you'll notice, I think that's the first one, there's all new plantings around there, so, and lot of work by in-house on that, and I'll save that for Dr. Delia to cover, but really good stuff happening there. Gym padding is coming to Walton High School as well as other schools for our new branding, so that's something we worked on. We got some updates on previously approved projects. Our Silas Wood doors, which seems to have been approved a couple of years ago, will finally be installed with all the appropriate security hardware. Walton High School boiler replacement continues. We're in the early stages of scoping out the Countrywood boiler replacement. You'll see that the Walton High School second turf field is complete, so that one is done. Oakwood, Birchwood Learning Labs are still in progress. It's going a little slow. That's largely due to the equipment, which just takes forever to get, so we're a little delayed on that. Over at Memorial, we've ordered Memorial home run fencing for the baseball and softball fields. That was from a request of the students there. The Walton High School Media Production Center project right in back of us is rolling right along, looks pretty good. And we had a meeting here at the high school last week to move forward with the traffic light installation at the corner of West Hills Road and West Hills Court, hoping to get that going forward. Let's see. We discussed a couple other areas. Oakwood needed a new basketball pole. It was past its use. And we discussed new piggybacking rules. There was a Supreme Court, there was a recent New York State case in the second department that prohibits districts from piggybacking, with a couple of minor exceptions, on awards by other municipalities. So that's having a major impact throughout the state. And we got a lot of summer in-house work going on, most notably over at Silas Wood. We finished Memorial, and now the team has shifted over to Silas Wood, where they are really busy. They're installing cubbies, ripping out existing lockers, closets, doors, painting and spackling. It's already moving along very nicely. There's a tight construction schedule, but we expect that everything will be moving forward and ready in time for the new school year. And there's also a suggestion for the name of the new turf field. We were looking for something. Our first turf field is the Wildcat Stadium field, and then there was a suggestion that the new turf field be named West Hills Field because it's on West Hills Road. So that was a suggestion. Seemed innocuous. So. And then we already started working on the timeline for the capital projects that were just approved in the 26-27 budget. And very shortly, we will start thinking about projects for next year. So it's an ongoing cycle. And that is the facilities report. Our next meeting, we have two more summer meetings, August 5th, which should be over at the James Caden Administrative Offices. The reason it is here rather than there is because of an ongoing major construction and paving project there, and staircase replacement, very much needed and overdue. And will make the area look better and safer. And then August 19th at the James Cain Administrative Offices. Comments by board members? Ms. Meyer. Is yours not working?
Yeah, it's not working, that's okay.
We got a rash of broken...
Thank you, Mr. Ciapetta. I just wanted to commend Ms. Kavanaugh, Dr. Dalia, Dr. Murphy, and Mr. Duggan regarding the New York State Science Regencies that were given out at the end of June. It was quite disappointing to see the quality of the test that was administered for both earth science and biology, and left many of our students and our staff members that had worked so hard all year feeling very defeated. Walt Whitman, Stimson, South Huntington quickly became the gold standard and the talk of the town, so to speak, as well as Suffolk County, with our quick action to assess the results and instill a hold harmless policy to our students. Given the fact that the exams were not reflective of the curriculum that they had worked on all year and should not have been a detriment to their academic standing at the end of the year, this was really a collaborative effort and done so swiftly and brought much peace and resolution to our students and our teachers that have worked so hard all year. It's still disappointing that the state found it acceptable to give these exams, and hopefully they will hear from us as well as other districts across the state and increase the standard and quality of exams given in the future. But I did want to commend the effort of the South Huntington administrators and teachers that worked on that, so thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Meyer. Other comments by board members? Dr. D'Elia.
Yes. Also like to commend the high school team, the grounds maintenance department, for setting up what was a spectacular graduation back on June 26th. Mother Nature did come through for us, thankfully, because Saturday and Sunday weren't so great. So, and it really sent our students off to the next chapter in their lives in a very dignified way. So thank you to everyone that contributed to what we thought was an unbelievable event. Also, I'd like to commend everybody involved with Wildcat Camps. Our enrollments are up. Again, I keep saying that each year, but it keeps growing each and every year. And the students are having a great time. And I know last week we dealt with extreme heat for Wednesday, definitely Thursday and Friday, but the counselors did a wonderful job, the directors, in orchestrating and making sure we had students in air conditioning. And listen, I knew Monday was a washout. So yesterday seemed like the first real day to get those, to get everybody out there for, on the sports camp end of things. But kudos to everybody, because this is, our camps here, I think, are second to none. I don't know if there's a district that has a comparable camp like we do. So thank you to all for making them so appealing. And it's, it's beyond South Huntington, the word on how great our camps are. And that takes effort from a lot of people. Memorial, I know Mr. Ciapetta mentioned the beautification that has been happening over at Memorial. I also want to commend the grounds team, because they're the ones that installed the landscape over at Memorial, and it just shows you the level of quality of work of people that we have in-house that can do great work. And not just in that area. When we're talking about Memorial itself, I mean, the skilled carpentry that went into that building is amazing. And I know everybody sees that, which leads me into my last piece that I'd like to talk about, is our tours are starting tomorrow. And Ms. Kavanaugh, are we up to 70? 72 people. So we're good for tomorrow, but we will look to add more dates, because anybody that's interested in seeing Memorial, we're going to make it happen for them. So it's worth seeing. It's a project that, last year at this time, if you would have walked into Memorial, very scary. Where we were, but to see where it is right now, and I know the buzz in the community is very, very positive, rightfully so, but we're more than happy to show it to everybody, because we know everybody that leaves that building after a tour and orientation, the word gets out like, oh my God, how beautiful is that? And our community deserves it, and it was built from the heart of South Huntington workers. So we look forward to tomorrow's first tour.
Thank you, Dr. Lee. Again, it won't be a finished product on opening day. There's additional projects that are coming that have been approved. The outside has a Veterans Plaza to reflect the name Memorial. There will be an inner courtyard, which is a kind of farm-to-table space. In the back, there will be a wonderful play area for the students with 2 courts, 2 full-length courts, and a handball court. So a lot of things that are coming as well. So when it's ready to open, but more is on the way. I just did want to mention, because the Parent Square I saw went out the other day, I mentioned this at our last June meeting, was that our Transportation Advisory Committee is being reformulated and reconstituted. So if people are interested, you could use the Google form to sign up. I'm not sure when it closes. What is it? July 31st. Closes July 31st, and kind of going to move swiftly on it. It doesn't look like it'll be a year long. We'd like to get some recommendations to the board sometime end of October, early November, because if we make any adjustments, we want people to be able to have sufficient time to adjust. And Dr. Hender, pre-K enrollment, how are we doing?
We are doing very well. We're at 270, approximately 270 right now, and still looking for a few more.
All right, let's hit 300. I think
that's it.
Great. Okay. Ex officio student member is not with us tonight. And voice of the residents. take a motion to adjourn. A motion to adjourn. Mr. Scraggs, seconded by Ms. Clark and Ms. Meyer and Ms. LaCara and Mr. Joyner. Everybody. All in favor? Any opposed? Be well, everyone. Enjoy your summer, and we will see you in August.